Have we started already?
No.
Okay.
You just want to be talking like this distance, 3 to 8 inches, you said?
And you won't be able to move that around.
Okay. You want me to touch that?
So hands off.
You
should have brought your
I can touch
fidget
mine.
spinner.
Yeah. But you can't touch yours.
Can you introduce me to everyone?
I will. Mikhail, are we zooming?
Or is this
Okay.
is this it? Are we ready
Yeah,
to
we're.
go?
I think we're gonna
we
have.
already started.
Yeah. So
The
I'm just gonna do the intro.
love banter.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Hindsight Grad Show Podcast. This is a show dedicated to highlighting the visual communications grad class of 2020 while building community connections. On this show, we will be speaking with students of the visual communications graduating class, as well as local artists, designers, teachers, and business owners. But before we introduce today's guests, I want to just point out the fact that visual communications after this year will be changing to the art and design program.
I dig that.
Some cheers in the
I dig that.
background. Cheers in the background. So here to talk about art, life, and everything in between, we have Donovan Sim,
What up?
who is a current student and will be graduating this year, and a Mr. Marco Longmore.
The one and only.
From Labels from Men labels.
Hello?
Yeah. So, Donovan, we're going to get to you first, I think. That's okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
I believe that your art centers around social issues, right? Is that like your main focus?
Yeah, I definitely try to incorporate that into some things that I do.
Yeah.
I think that having projects with a little bit more substance behind them than just kind of, I don't know, like visual fluff is nice to incorporate.
Yeah. And then that's kind of like where your grad project is going, correct? Like visual fluff? Just kidding. It's not visual fluff.
Well, that is kind I wouldn't say it's visual fluff, but it's definitely maybe a different aim that I'm taking at my grad project than I normally would in a project. Usually I try and leave myself out of my work and never really have projects that are based around my life. And I kind of just try and focus on, like sustainability, environmental issues, social issues. So for my graduation project, just to kind of fill everyone in, all you listeners out there, I'm doing a typographic photo essay, which is going to encompass the 3 years that I've spent in Medicine Hat, which are my college years, kind of going over just like lessons I've learned, people I've met, just like the sense of community that I've been able to be a part of while being here for such a short time, because it has really shaped who I am as I'm sitting here right now, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, it's kind of stepping away from not focusing on myself has been kind of different. Writing in the first person has been new to me, at least for writing copy for a project, but I'm excited.
Excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it because you do some pretty like cool, interesting things. I think you were saying you got kicked out of a soap in Walmart. Was it Walmart for doing like one of your projects?
Yeah,
social awareness?
it was Walmart.
Did you hear about that, Marco?
I think so.
Yeah. So just to kind of fill you guys in, I did a project which was kind of pointing the finger at consumers for purchasing plastic waste, specifically plastic water bottles and single-use plastics. So anyways, it would be hard to describe, but it was basically like a hanging tag that went on the rim of the bottles. But I was in Walmart for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds before I got the boot. But I managed to snag one picture, which is now in my portfolio.
That's sweet.
So
Yeah.
DonovanSim.myportfolio.com. Thought I'd throw the plug in there.
Just throwing the plug in there. That's epic. Beauty.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
What exactly is it, like a photo essay?
So basically, in my second year, we kind of had a project that was similar, which I totally shit the bed on. It's probably one of the worst things that I've ever done. So while choosing this, I also kind of want to use this as a redemption for that. When I was doing that past project, I just really couldn't get into it. And although it didn't turn out absolutely horrible. It just didn't meet my own personal expectations. So basically what it is a typographic photo essay. So it's basically an essay with photos, but I really want to get creative with like handling the type, experimenting with the type, whether it's weights, different typefaces, arrangement of type, and just like really getting out there and being experimental to kind of add more to the page than just photos and just like the copy.
Heard. Yeah, totally. Makes sense.
Yeah, so like an example of that would be when I'm talking about like my good friend Lane, shout out Lane, he's sitting here.
What to do?
Lane likes to sew things together. He likes to create. He has a clothing brand, and from my standpoint, a lot of the time he's kind of just like a F it kind of guy. So say a spread for him would be maybe a little bit more chaotic. Maybe some words would be visually sewn together, like for instance, like Titan kerning, kind of just like giving that connection. If you were to know Lane, you would maybe get that right away. But like the content of the copy, say if I'm talking about him sewing raw materials together, and then you'd kind of hopefully make those connections. But it's definitely, it's catering or targeted towards a more creative audience, to the appreciation of creative individuals. So at a glance, a lot of people would just not realize what's going on. But then again, I feel like a lot of people that are going to be coming to the graduation show are trying to appreciate the art.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
So that's sweet.
Cool.
Sweet, yeah. And then, Marco, you are a local business owner.
I am, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you own Labels for Men, labels, if you want to put a little mustard on it.
Ladles for Ben.
Ladles for Men, yeah, we can get weird with it, for sure.
Yeah.
How's that been? Because you were in this program too at one point, right?
I was, yeah. I would have been back in like 2012, 2013 that I started, and then kind of came up that I was working part-time at the time, and then came up into managing, and here I am, part owner, and rolling with it. Yeah, things are good. It's the fashion industry. It's hit and miss. You got to choose kind of what you're catering to, and I know we have a diverse market in Medicine Hat, kind of cover all the bases. There's not a lot of options, so
Sure.
we definitely try to bring a more modern twist, a little more functionality, and like definitely more sustainable.
Right, so H&M is what you're shooting for.
Oh,
Yeah. Just kidding. Not even close.
So was it tough leaving the visual communication program for you, kind of stepping into
I
management
think like at the time I wasn't super into like school in general. So it wasn't too bad. Like I thought maybe that I could just take a step back in general from school.
Right.
It just happened to be like timing worked out really well that there was some change in management and ownership, and I happened to just be kind of there and knew what was going on and was willing to kind of take over with my brother, who had worked there previously for 4 years or so.
Okay. So what, while you were in the visual communication program, like what kind of brought you in on that? I know you have an appreciation for art as well. Did you have kind of any focus that you're looking to?
Well, actually, right when we took over, we did a rebrand, which the visual communications was like a huge help in that, like learning just kind of the basics of like Illustrator and basic design, I guess, right?
Sure.
Like I only did like basic graphic design, 2D fundamentals, but you learn enough about like, I don't know, color theory and just aesthetically pleasing images, right?
Exactly.
To be able to kind of do something with it. So they definitely used like lots of that stuff right off the bat with that. And same with like doing sales and stuff, being able to, I don't know, whether it's social media or actually printing posters, it's something you can actually just do on your own. So it definitely has helped me like as a business owner to kind of cut costs around the corner to be able to do it myself.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely like, it's not if you want good design, it's not an affordable thing, like just to, I don't know, you see like Instagram, right? Like
Yeah.
Preach.
you can spend like $4 and like get an app to like design it, or different fonts and stuff. So, but to actually get like good design, it's, I don't know, I understand that it like takes a lot of time to get like good shit.
Yeah.
So to be able to kind of like focus on that and even grow as like a designer, like more as a passion or hobby, I can do that on the side and still use it to benefit my business.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of see a lot of businesses kind of thinking that way, like, oh, I can do it myself, but it doesn't look good. But I want to give a shout out to Labels for Men, because you can see Marco's knowledge coming out in there, because
Hey, thanks, man.
yeah, it keeps the social media on point. Any promotional material always looks good.
Yeah.
So it definitely, you can see how it kind of overlaps from a passion to benefiting your business.
Yeah, the Instagram's definitely like on point. I'm like,
Thanks.
that's from Medicine Hat?
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Beauty.
you have done a couple other things, like you are like customizing some clothes, and like you get into like the sewing and the tailoring aspect, and you've also like redone an entire house pretty much lately. We still have to find that cast iron tub in your backyard. Everyone's invited.
Cast iron tub party.
Cast iron tub, yeah.
Bring your shovel.
I got a metal detector.
Yeah. Would you say that has kind of, the VisCon program has kind of helped you along with like the design of your house, or like how you see like fashion or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I like the biggest thing is like, one thing I didn't know about at all before going into VisCon was like line extensions. And that's like been the biggest thing to stick with me. And it sounds like such a minor thing, but like, do you know what I mean?
I'm almost like, what's a line extension?
So like building my house, I'm like, okay, like this, I don't know how to explain this without showing like actual images, but making your eye follow. Like when you walk into a room, you see something, and then having that line of some sort, whether it be like a corner or something hanging on the wall, like to guide you through the house, right?
Okay.
So like if you see something on the wall and it draws you to the left to continue going on that direction. So when I was thinking, like when I was placing light switches and stuff, right? Like you naturally think like maybe visual design is different than physical design, where it's like where you see something and you follow with your eye, whereas lots of the time I feel like I had to change it a little bit to actually physically do it. So walk into a room without any light switches, but where do I want the light switch to be? It's like I reach out my hand and like, okay, that seems pretty high though. So like I can adjust it and change. So I chose
Trial and
everything
error.
from like, like you tape a fake light switch on the wall and walk into the room and see if it feels natural.
I was gonna say,
Like-
if you go to Marco's house, there's just like 8 light switch holes.
And there's like a flashlight laying on the floor, because none of them work.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible
So
electrician.
do you have light switches now?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I got everything placed. I'm super happy with everything. There's not a whole lot that didn't go unthought of, I guess. It's there. I don't know, things that maybe not everybody would notice, but somebody who is around, I guess, architectural design, perhaps it'd be considered.
Right.
Might see that there was thought put into it. I mean, I think the thing with good design is that you don't notice it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Until it's bad design,
Exactly.
and then you
Yeah.
100% notice it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just
know-
like heights of things and like where it's placed, I think is really important to make it functional and like effortless, seamless.
Yeah. When I had an opportunity to check out Marco's house in the summer, and it is beautiful. But
you.
there's definitely probably things that I don't see that were thought out. Just kind of how you're saying, maybe someone with like an architectural background would be able to appreciate those things a little bit more, just as like a poster, like alignment, lining things up on a baseline grid, using a grid for that matter. Like a lot of people probably don't know that's going on, but it is. And when
Yeah,
you do
and-
see it, or when you do understand it, it's appreciated.
I feel like lots of time in construction too, they don't necessarily think of design. They think of more the construction and they make it work, right? But to
It's very
think of it like,
systematic.
yeah, like to think of it like in finer detail, right? And that's the same with, I guess, to bring it back to this, like a two-dimensional design. Oh, you okay?
Feisty, feisty.
There's going to be lots of like average design, right? But it kind of takes that like extra step to like learn about the details. Like somebody can, without education, put something together that looks kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
But until you learn about all, I don't know, I only took like a year and a half here, so I don't know all the
Composition.
details, but like looking at and seeing stuff in this room, even like you can see somebody who has the knowledge to like bring that good to like great and
Right.
make it look, again, seamless and effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah, props to you for doing your own renos, because that would be hell.
He moved
it's
his
been so hard.
stairs, people. You don't hear about people moving their stairs.
Yeah, it was a pretty substantial reno. Like, I gutted it down. It's 550 square house cottage, or square foot house, square foot cottage, 550 square foot cottage. There we go. And gutted everything down to just the 4 walls. Everything down, stripped out the electrical, stripped out the plumbing. There was 0 insulation in the house. Took out down all the walls, redesigned the layout, put boards on the ground and walked around in there to make sure it was functional, how I was walking, like cutting corners, if I was going to hit my shoulder on a corner or something like that. Made sure it was functional. And then I started putting it back together. And definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And would I do it again? Maybe, if I had like money to do it. But renos it's a big job, but I'm so happy that I took the time to like, I don't know, put design aspects into it, because there are little things during the day where I'm like, oh yeah. Like I love how this light sits and like shines over top of me, like the perfect placement of that light. But
So do you think if you had gotten someone else to do it, would you kind of be unhappy with that?
I'd like to say no and say that I'm like super easygoing, but I think there's a few things where I got somebody else to like help out or like finish the drywall and stuff. I'm like, okay, but like it could have been better.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I think that's me. I just have to like, I don't know, accept it and like accept that like nothing's always perfect. And
Yeah.
I'm super happy with how it turned out, and definitely like the visual communications influenced my OCD into the house.
Just like fine tuned it.
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
in visual communications long enough to like get that thing where you just pay attention to typography in the wild
100%.
all the time? Yeah.
100%,
So
yeah.
annoying, man.
Yeah, you walk past something and you're like, the fuck is that?
Yeah. Seriously though.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any examples lately of like bad type? Because like I didn't even realize like words mattered, like the written word mattered until I got here, and then I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I definitely saw one, and I don't know. It's kind of a neat idea. Actually, I think I was with you when I saw it. Bed Bath and Beyond.
Was it?
The type on it. Yeah, I think we were at the restaurant over there.
Oh, Browns.
Browns, yeah. So Bed Bath and Beyond, it's like stretched out beyond, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? But like at first glance, it looks like you're like, what on the earth were they doing?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so like skewed? And then you think back, and it's like, okay, like they were trying.
Yeah,
thought was there.
it's the D.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
D is like
Oh,
super
yeah, like
stretched.
kinetic type.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
the thought is there, but like, does it look good? Debatable.
Yeah. Mikal, have you seen any unruly type specimens lately?
Not really, annoyingly. I've been kind of focused on working more, but last summer out in Cyprus, discovered some nice Comic Sans on
Classic.
yeah.
Total
yeah.
banger.
A couple of really high-end "Welcome to the Lodge" signs. Yeah,
Comic
real
Sans.
high-end.
I think we should make an effort to create like a Comic Sans papyrus hybrid, so
That's
we can
gold.
hit as many anger points in as many designers as possible.
People
Yeah,
everywhere.
so much.
That'd be amazing, actually.
Yeah.
You guys should use that for the Hindsight show. A
Papyrus
papyrus
and-
Comic Sans mix, a child.
No.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah, but honestly, yeah, there's bad examples.
Yeah.
But
The weird thing about like bad examples
it's
is
more work for us.
Yeah. Well, no, but like those people that Marco was talking about that get to the place where they're like, they can make things seamless, but even those people, if they continue to make work, will make bad work, even in that state, you know? Like, you're never going to be able to always make something that always appeals to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. But I just think, like, you see quite a few examples that are like,
Oh yeah, there's levels to it for sure.
Yeah.
But like, even if you're at that top tier, you're still not going to be making even like, you like 80% of your work is probably pretty good, but that 20% is like, don't look at that still. It doesn't even matter how much I learned. It's like,
There's like a lot of designers I feel like that look like super popular. Like I think it was the guy who created the I Love New York logo. He says he like looks back on his previous stuff and he's like, what the frig was I even thinking?
yeah. But we could probably, I hope we can probably relate to some past projects that we've done that we look back and it's like, nah, like you think it's the greatest thing in the moment, but then a couple days, couple weeks, you're just like, you're over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can look back on, which is important, and kind of understand what could have been better. But obviously there's budgets, there's time limits, and stuff just has to make it into the world.
Yeah, you definitely can't work on things forever.
Yeah.
You know.
But
like,
when it comes down to like, I guess when there's bad kerning and someone's like brand identity that's blasted on a sign in front of their like business, it's like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
That just, there's that, and then, I don't know. That can't go unnoticed. You know?
I mean, it usually does, but like,
Yeah.
if you go
it
to,
doesn't though. Like, subconsciously people notice that shit. And
Yeah.
they, like,
I guess true,
they
subconscious.
don't know that they don't want to shop at that place because the kerning's bad, but they don't shop at that place. And now the people behind the till, they're just like, we don't have business. I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's like, because people look at your sign and like,
Well, do you think people that don't have design knowledge think that's
when I'm like getting critiqued by people, I probably value someone's critique from outside the design world more than I value a designer's, because it's more genuine and unbiased. Like, I feel like designers are very much biased in the way that they create. I can attest to myself being biased in the way that I create. There's some styles that I'm really down with, and there's some styles that I will never do.
right?
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Like, you look at fashion and stuff, right?
Yeah.
From my perspective, and you see the stuff that like people into fashion really like, but on a general basis.
Like runway stuff?
Yeah, totally. Like you're like, you can
Toilet
like
paper
really
wrapped
appreciate
around.
something, right?
Yeah, they're wearing rubber boots and they're wearing toilet paper. Like, and it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, you're like, I
come
can
on.
wipe my ass with that. That's perfect. But yeah, and then like as like a consumer point, you're never gonna sell that shit.
No.
Right? So you need to make something that appeals to like more than just in the niche, right?
But in this day and age, you can very easily get connected to a big niche and sustain yourself with that in one vein. I feel like you need to have like 8 to 10 veins of things to actually sustain yourself in this day and age. You can't just like do one thing, have fun not eating. Like,
Well, it's like back in the old days when there was like a dentist / eye doctor / mortician. I was like, that guy was
he was
into
working
some-
so hard, and now it's like, yeah, this guy, he's like a business owner, he's a designer, he's a photographer, he's a videographer.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it, like, the list doesn't stop.
But I mean, like, think of us. We know design. We know, we know how to make motion, graphics. You know, all that stuff. I think was a little bit more separated than it is now. Now it's kind of, we have to be the total package. You know,
do.
Because, okay, like you still see job postings for motion graphic designer and someone who's much more fluent in typography, but that doesn't mean that it's going to cross over, you know? And as well as if you're a motion graphics designer, you probably have to have the knowledge of typography and every other fundamental of design. It's just, which is great for us, because the visual communication program really does put it all on our plate for us to, whichever direction we really want to go, it's there for us. So yeah, shout out visual communication program.
Yeah.
Shows so art and design, what it do.
Yeah, but yeah, the program here is really good for that. Just kind of giving us like a understanding of like the overall process of design, which is cool. And then like after, you're more than welcome to like specialize in something, but you still have that underlying knowledge.
Yeah.
It just like carries with you.
Yeah, and it will give you enough knowledge to hopefully get a job in that field, you know.
Here's a suspect question.
Lane, I can hear you breathing.
Okay, mildly suspect
You're
question for
screaming, bro.
everyone here.
Yeah.
What is the most blatant experience that you've had where it was like when you come to this visual communications, it's like you kind of do have to pick between fine arts and design for a main focus. But as Donnie said, we're kind of mixing it over here. But what is the most blatant example you have of like discrimination towards the other side from the other side? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like everybody gets along here, and we're all best friends.
Yeah.
Mikhail, what's up?
Having been here for 5 years, I got to agree this group is the closest, most friendly group I've seen. It's really nice to see. In the past years, like being friends with some of the grads from past years, it's been wild to watch. I'm actually really impressed with this group of grads because of that.
Let's just throw some names out there right now. Like, I'm talking. No,
No way.
yeah.
Yeah, but this graduating class is a very good group of individuals, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Yeah. Same.
We can all sit in the same room without trying to pull each other's hair,
Yeah.
which is good. But yeah, I don't know, Lane. I can't really think of an example. I guess.
Mostly have it's like examples of profs, but I'm not gonna put people on blast. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
there's just been a couple of times where it's like that person is obviously discriminating against that person because they're not at that level where they can get the respect from that teacher, you know, like their designs are so bad that the teacher's like, I can't even like you. And then the paintings are so bad on the other side that the teacher's like, I can't even like you, you're annoying to me.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's just like a different understanding of art, like two different sides of art. And like some people just favor one side over the other, and it's just the way it is. And there's like nothing wrong, because like I think no matter what you do, you're drawing influence from like any style of art. If you're a graphic designer, you're drawing influence from like classical painting sometimes.
Oh, wait.
For sure.
You know, stuff like, and like clothing design is the same. Like shout out to King Louis with the high heels, right? like you're pulling from history or from anything really. But yeah. We've got 2 minutes left. Do you guys want to resort to ASMR? That's always where I go.
No.
Just like a warning on this podcast. Yeah. There will always be
question for
ASMR.
Marco. Okay, I'm about to put you on the spot.
Oh, fine. What's that?
In this ever-changing environment that is retail,
When do you think you're going to sell out?
when do you think you're going to sell out?
Like stop doing retail?
Or no, not necessarily.
Get a spot beside Old Navy.
No, but like, do you have any plan, like changing the structure of what you do? Like,
I honestly don't think so.
No.
I think I have a strong enough appreciation for like small business and like having time to do the things that I love to do, like as like a human being, right? Rather than just focusing my whole life on business
yeah.
and trying to like make more money, right? That's a traditional mindset of a businessman, right? But I think, I don't know, I use it as something that I enjoy. Like I love putting an outfit together, right? So if I can use like my knowledge and experience from fabrics and like whether it be washing instructions or putting stuff together for guys that definitely have no interest in like putting an outfit together, but they want to look good, right? They want to put an outfit together. It makes it look like like they put some effort in, right?
Yeah.
So their wife looks at them and like, oh wow, like you look good. Like you put some effort in, man. Like you cleaned up, right? So if a guy walks in there like, dude, I need an outfit, right? I'm gonna put something together, give them some options, and that's what it is. I'm more focused on making that person happy and like the customer service and like doing something that I enjoy to make a buck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, as long as my bills are getting paid and the business is doing good, I can continue having free time and doing passion projects, whether it be sewing, drawing, painting, design work, helping friends out with design work, perhaps. Continuously working on my house is a big one.
Forever.
Forever.
You got to fill all those light switch holes.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about it like that. Like
Yeah.
people utilizing yourself as a stylist, you know?
It totally is. Like I'm like it's almost like personal shopping.
Yeah.
You won't get
It's
that
so
at Blue
personal.
Notes, people.
We got to get Lane a headset
Yeah.
for next time so we can hear.
Screaming.
Yeah, but I think, that was an excellent answer. But unfortunately, we are out of time. If anyone wants to continue these conversations, feel free to drop by the Medicine Hat College and talk to Donovan Sim.
Yeah. Or you can drop by and then we'll go over to Wendy's, get
some burgers.
Dave single for $3,
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
we'll go over to Labels for Men.
And then talk to Marco.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
bring,
he can
bring
get
me
you
some JBCs, all right?
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. He can get you suited up.
Yeah.
I
so
love you, Margot.
I love you, dog.
I just want to say thanks again to Donovan Sim and Marco Longmore for stopping in. Thank you for tuning in to the Hindsight Graduation Podcast. To learn more about our grads and listen to more of the episodes, click, link, and subscribe. Grad Show MHC is on Facebook and Instagram. And don't be afraid to check out our new website, hindsight.gallery.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. Say bye, Marco.
See you, fam.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye, Lynn.